Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters and viewers of IQRA TV. Today we've been talking about the experiences of Muslim sisters who come into the fold of Islam, Revert Muslims who were previously either practicing Christians or non-practicing, but they were non-Muslims from the English community or white community, and they've come into the fold of Islam because they felt Islam had something really rich to offer them, that it had gave them some purpose to their lives and some meaning to what we are all about. And we've been talking to Angela Thompson, who's been a revert, and he's been on my program before, and Jessica Ibbotson from Bradford, Angela is from Leeds, about their experiences. And before we went to break, I was asking Jessica about her experiences having come into the fold of Islam and how the local Muslim community had actually welcomed them, not welcomed them, etc. And it was fascinating what you were saying, because it's a shame on us as a community to the way we've reacted to you as a fellow Muslim. And that experience obviously for you must have been quite traumatic, having left your family, your friends, adopted a faith that you hoped would welcome you, and then find that the people on the other end who are Muslims had not really given you the support. Did that not put you off?
Yeah. I took my Shahada in January, and I think June, July, I was on my way to my class to tell my teacher, like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I was like, I've lost all my friends, my family are barely speaking to me. I was like, and this, like the culture, I was like, I've left everything, and then I've come to this religion, and then I was like, I live in Bradford, like anyone would think it'd be easy, but no.
Exactly,
so
yes.
On the way down to the class, and I was like, I'm just gonna, because I appreciated her and how much she'd done for me, and I just wanted to go down and be like, look, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. Like it just got too much. And then when I went to that class is when I met the sister who has literally been there since that time, so for the past 4 years, and her little family, like, she's a revert, but hers has been like 30 plus years.
Right.
But she'd married into a Asian family, and like she understood where I was coming from, but she wasn't really, obviously by Allah she was there, but she didn't need to be at that class, but she just happened to go there. And when I went, and she was like, she could tell that I was upset, and then I started talking to her, and she kind of just said to me, like, obviously it is hard, and I was ready to walk away because I just thought, this is just way too much. Like, I'm facing it from both ends,
yes,
and I'm all by myself. And then it was talking to her and listening to her talk, and it was just saying, like, on Judgment Day you're by yourself. No one's going to be stood there, and it kind of just brought it back to perspective, as in, like, even though it's hard now, if I've got enough faith, which if I built on that and I just concentrate and I just keep making dua and just say, like, bring some friends into my life and like make it easier. And it did after I met her as well, the sister. A couple of weeks after that, I just thought, as long as I just needed one person to be like, you're not an alien, and I accept you, it's okay, like, you have made the right decision. I know it don't feel like it, but
SubhanAllah, whoever this sister is, may Allah bless her and give her the highest reward in this world and the world hereafter, because obviously she made a big difference to you and your life, and we need more sisters like that in this world as well. So I mean, obviously the infrastructure in Bradford, you're saying there is some now groups of new revert Muslims. I mean, do you have a base where you come together, where you share knowledge and information with each other? Because I know you were saying that, Angela, that you don't have one in Leeds area that you're aware of. And you miss that, don't you?
I miss, at the moment, there isn't really anything anywhere, is there? It's like maybe an hour here on a Sunday, or
every couple of weeks,
something here, you might find something, or something, and there's nothing. If there was something solid somewhere that you could go maybe once a fortnight, once a month for a good hour and a half, a good 2 hours, and you could learn, or even just people that are the same as you, because a lot of reverts, we have the same sort of stories, don't we? And we understand. But we would like born Muslims in there as well to share these experiences, because things are very different from their side to our side. That's what I find.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, the next question for me is, for example, I have this huge problem within our community, and that is the clash between the culture and the faith, right? And have you experienced that as well? I mean,
Yeah.
your experience, you were saying, before we started the program, that the way you're welcomed or not welcomed by the born Muslim community, for example, was a bit of a real challenge for you, wasn't it, Jessica?
Yeah.
That you were not really treated well, right? And I mean, that is a serious indictment on the Muslim community, in my view. And this culture clash, how do you reconcile when you see people practicing Islam the way they do with their culture, with a cultural heritage, to the Islam that you picked up from the faith, the Quran, pure Islam from the Quran, and the teachings that you've gone through? I mean, does that, in your view, sort of question the practice that we, for example, we were born Christian from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Is that something that you grapple with?
How I think about it is, obviously we know what we've been taught and what we have learned, so we take that. But when we see and we hear, they're sometimes not very accepting of you, that's just their culture, that's just how they, maybe we don't know any different, maybe they don't know any different, but we are all the same. And I think it's more these groups that we talk about, people getting together, instead of just having a reverts group where everybody goes is new to Islam. You need a mix.
Oh, yes,
you need a mix of the born Muslims as well, either in different languages, a diverse of people to come together, and that way everybody learns. I mean,
that's
the only.
Jessica was saying that when she came into the fold of Islam, and the Muslim people, or these Muslim people from the Asian subcontinent, in the area where you lived, obviously did not make you feel welcome, did they?
It's just, I think it's mainly just, it's like especially in Bradford, it's just because of the culture, because you've got like English culture and Asian culture, and there's the odd like set of people who will mix, but it's like everyone's just got like, it's like they've got set opinions on each other, and that's just kind of stayed. So to throw me in the mix of like, and I'm not marrying anyone, that's the main thing for me, was that I was doing it for myself. That's what made me even more like separate to everyone else, because there's a lot, not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's a lot of people who are brought to Islam through meeting someone. So then it's kind of like they'll get married and they'll become Muslim and they'll adapt it, but they'll also adapt and learn a new culture as well. Whereas for me, it was kind of like, it was just the religion.
Right.
But I agree. I think that if more people just need to speak about it more, they need to they need more talk, like stuff like this. Like you said, like not just a reverts group. Like they've got an amazing one in Manchester that when I lived there for a year, and it had a whole mix of people.
Right.
There were like born Muslims, and then there were people who weren't Muslim, and then the like reverts. It was, and it was more like a bit of a counselling one, and they'd talk about things. If they could, they've got, like you said, they've got the odd thing in Leeds, but they could do with something more. But just where it had people got the word out, so then everyone could like come and talk about it. So then like someone from the Asian culture could come and explain like, this is why, because of like explain their culture to someone like me, who when I first came to the religion, I was kind of like, how can you be Muslim but then
do this?
It doesn't make any sense. And that's what made me want to go down and be like, I can't do this anymore, and obviously say to my teacher like, I'm not coming back, because it started to not make sense. Because
well, I mean, I've said this on this program before, so I have no shame in saying it again. I think if we look at the behavior of some of my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, particularly young brothers nowadays in Bradford area, most people would be put off becoming Muslims, because they're not practicing Islam the way it should be practiced, in my opinion. And that's the opinion of many scholars as well. I had a scholar here from Qatar a few weeks ago, and he made it very clear that you can pray all your namazes, you can go to Umrah as many times as you want, you do your Hajj, but if your behavior is not as a proper Muslim, then none of these will be of value to you when you go face your Maker, right? And I think that is quite true. I mean, it's really a sad reflection on the community of Muslims in this country. We pride ourselves on being Muslims, but here we have two sisters who've made this really brave decision to come into the fold of Islam, and they found the journey into Islam quite traumatic in the sense that we don't have the support network for people who are exploring the possibility of coming into Islam and becoming Muslims. And mashallah, you're practicing Muslims as well. I mean, let's come back to your experience of the Umrah, obviously. This is sort of this is the icing on the cake for you, was it, in a way? Spiritually, how uplifting was it for you?
Extremely. I can't put into words how it was and how I felt. And I wouldn't say I'm a very emotional person. I'm very, I know what I'm doing and focused. And I cried a lot. I cried a lot, definitely. And it was just amazing. And spiritually, it was just something that I'd never experienced before. I've never had this before. I've never felt this before. I definitely want to go back. Yeah, definitely would. And to anybody, I tell everybody now, it was just, and the people, and the sisters that I met, and because you meet them from all over the world, not just here.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Extremely different. So kind, so nice. It was just, I wish that everybody that reverted could just go to see how this is, how this can be, how it was there for me. Not a harsh word, not a funny look, not anything. Everyone was just so kind and so nice and just amazing.
Obviously, that is a powerful sort of message that you've learnt from there. I mean, in the sense of wanting to go again, as you say, may Allah take you again. I mean, you went on your own, your husband and family were left behind. Would you like to go with them and experience it differently, I presume?
Oh yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it would be completely different.
It would be completely different, wouldn't it?
Because going, obviously, I only knew so much, and I said to my husband, I can't go, I don't know anything, I don't know enough. And I had this panic, and I went, what do you mean you don't know anything? If Allah's, you go in, it's your time to go, And I was like, I don't know enough, I don't know this, I don't know about that, what do I do when I get there? And all that, when you get there, you just do, because somebody will tell you, and I walked, and and you go down and there's hundreds of thousands of people, and you just stand, and I'm like, so now what do I do? And people will just come and they'll say sister, and they just come and they'll just take it, and someone will show you and someone will tell you. And when we did Umrah, du'as to there was things to say and things to do, and I'm like, oh, and people will help you all the way along, everywhere. And made it absolute, just made it so.
Well, may Allah take you and your family again. Hopefully, inshallah, the experience will be different. Obviously, much more powerful, I hope, as well. And I'm sure, you probably, Sister Jessica would probably want to go at some stage as well.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I mean, just coming back to Sister Jessica again, I mean, where you live, obviously you live in a very predominantly Asian Muslim community, I believe, in Bradford. And have you noticed the attitude change, because you've lived in that community for a long period of time now? Have they adopted you? Have they accepted you? Or you still feel that there's a them and us sort of situation?
As in for just me being Muslim, or well, yeah, because I've got a different mindset. Like the more that was when I first converted, and I think when you first convert or revert, you kind of like, you feel like you need to find somewhere to fit in. And that's what made it even harder. And then the more people the more revert sisters that I met, like it's like now I know so many sisters in Bradford who are reverts, who are a lot older than me, or the same age as me, or younger than me. It's kind of like the more that I've spent time with them, they're just like, you don't have to. I didn't have to fit into just the Asian culture of
So you
being
created a
Muslim.
network of yourself.
As soon as I came, like, obviously that's Bradford, it's predominantly, it is that, but then once I went to Leeds and I lived in Manchester, it was kind of like, all, as a race, and as a culture, you would stick together anyway, just like how English people do.
Yeah, that's
so
normal.
I understood that, and then I kind of just thought, I don't need to fit into that, and if someone is mean to me or doesn't accept me, like my mindset completely, as soon as, the more I learnt, the more I just thought, okay, well, if they want to behave like that, that's on them. Like, I'll still smile at everyone, because
Subhanallah,
I have to answer for me, and if they want to do that, then that's up to them.
Right. I mean, just coming back, I mean, one of the questions that comes to me, obviously from the way you've described your lifestyle after you became a Revert, into Islam, you were on your own for quite a while.
Yeah.
How do you now, I mean, festivals like Eid and Ramadan and fasting, etc. How does that affect you on a day-to-day? I mean, Eid, everybody gets together, families get together, right? Supposedly. I mean, obviously you're a part of a family. I'm not sure, I didn't ask whether you're part of a family or not. But I mean, obviously these are obviously very important celebratory events in the calendar of Islam. How do you find that in terms of being able to celebrate either with yourself or with others? I mean, in your case, I'm not sure. Is it this Muslim Sisters group that you have, or have you built up a family network that you can celebrate together?
When it's Ramadan, so in fasting, if I've asked people, and a few people will be like, "Oh yeah, you can come over, that's fine." So as time's gone on, and the more people that I've met, the bigger group people that I have around me, the more that they've asked. And if I wanted to go somewhere, I could go somewhere. But I don't mind, because I live by myself, so I don't mind the odd time being by myself. Eid's right now, because I know I have quite a lot of friends who aren't married. We'll get together, like they'll come to mine, and we'll obviously just have some food and do something.
Right.
But that's how it is. As a Revert, if you've got other Revert friends, or if you know a family that don't mind you coming round, because obviously it's like with my family, we wouldn't invite someone else round on Christmas. They wouldn't invite someone random on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any of my friends there eating dinner with me, because they'd be with their families. So it's kind of but
obviously that's something that that family intimacy is obviously missing to a certain extent, isn't it?
Yeah, that will, but that's there's nothing. You can get obviously it's upsetting, but at the same time it's like, inshallah,
Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for you, and may He change all that as well for you as well, right? And may Allah give you even more strength. But I mean, obviously you made a major decision.
Yeah.
We welcome you to the fold of Islam, and you're a shining example of having come into the faith of Islam. I think, as I say, the shame is on people like us who have not done what we need to do to welcome you into the fold of Islam, as far as I'm concerned. And I think anybody who is watching this program, and I'm sure there'll be many, many people who'll be watching this program, we all should be sad that we've not taken the initiative or done the dawah work that we need to do in order to bring people into the fold of Islam, themselves, and also then provide the infrastructure for people who come in. And sometimes I think we expect, if anybody comes into the fold of Islam, I'm not sure, and and this is a question I'm asking. Sometimes there are people who expect that if you come into the fold of Islam, then you have to wear the salwar kameez, and you have to dress in a particular way, and you have to behave in a certain way. Like you said, the question that was asked, does your husband allow you to come to work? I mean, did you find that people pigeonholed you into a particular form of dress or work?
Yeah.
Is that what you found as well?
Yeah.
How did that happen to you? What were the people? Was that the husband's family, or was it other people?
Well, my husband's here. He's only got one or two relatives here. Majority of his family are back home. So it was more sort of people I knew.
Right.
And obviously they don't know extremely little about Islam, and they would say, so are you going to have to cover it all up? Do you wear, you know, is it just this showing? And yeah, and I'm like, no. No, I'm still me. You know, I might wear my jeans and a big baggy jumper and my trainers still, and you know, you put your scarf on and you go out, and they're like, oh, so yeah, you know, like, and like you were saying about the summer, even the summer, I think once you get used to, because you've got to like, that there is, you do change your clothes and everything. You know, that you know, go, you know, a lot more modest. You know, would be out. You know, your tops would be off here and things like this, but. I just then changed to like long summery dresses, and they're very, because finding clothes as well is a really hard thing. I don't know about you.
It's got better.
It has got better over time.
The fashion industry are definitely,
but to begin
with,
it
modest.
Was really hard to find anything, because a lot of it, and especially in Bradford, is Asian clothes. So you're always pointed to an Asian shop, and it's like, but I'm not Asian and I just want to wear something that's modest but English. So you can go to the high street shops, but you've just got all your tight jeans and this and that, and you're like, no, but I don't want to wear that. So just finding like long, I just found like long flowery dresses and just that kind of a thing that you can wear your scarf. So you've got to find your own sort of identity in your clothes as well, because that I found was a problem as well. Just finding something to wear. Isn't it? When you go something like, what am I gonna cover up here? I can't go in jeans. I don't want to wear this. You know,
but then you see a lot of young Muslim women wearing jeans and tops and things like that. And you know, did that? So you know, you think, hang on, this is hypocritical, isn't it?
I see that as, I see that the younger ones, they do, don't they? They just wear the you know, jeans and long things. Maybe that's the fashion for young Muslim girls.
But then I do remember being that like. Like when I meet some sisters, I've met sisters who were like like in their teens when they converted, and I just think, wow, like it's amazing that they did. But I think a lot of young Muslim girls and, well, girls, because it's more with our dress. It's just a case of like they're living in a Western world, so they're just probably wanting. That's what happens though. Like the religion's perfect, but then you mix it with like the Western world, and it's like people, the more that generations go on, the more that they want to fit into just the Western side. They want to fit into society as much as possible.
I saw it coming back from when I got off the plane at Saudi. The girls got on, the sisters got on, and obviously they were completely covered, and they had headscarf and everything. But when I got off the plane, I was like, where have they all gone?
Don't recognise them.
Where have they all gone? Because all I saw was all these young girls just with long hair, their t-shirts, their jeans and their trainers. Like, where did everybody go to? There was a plane full of sisters, all, you know, in abayas and everything, and black headscarves, and they've all gone. So as soon as they got to the airport in London, everything came off, and that's how they walked out the airport. So and I was like, oh, okay. It was
fascinating.
a shock.
Absolutely fascinating, obviously. I mean, obviously, you know, we're coming to the end of the program. We could carry on with this conversation. I think your experience is something that we need to learn more about. And also, next time I'd like you to come and talk about your vision of the future, how we can move forward. But I hope that you found this episode really not only interesting, but also question our own judgment and our own behavior as Muslims, particularly from the Asian subcontinent. And I'd like to say to the mosque and the madrasas, hear the testimonies of these sisters, and please, for God's sake, let's do something that will provide people like them some sort of infrastructure, some sort of network where they can feel more comfortable about adopting the Islam. Hopefully you found this interesting. Inshallah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah be with you. And I'll see you inshallah next week. Take care.